We're live. We're live. What's going on,
Woo.
people? How's everybody
Woo.
doing? I already got my tweet copied and pasted to get this rolling. What's going on, Justin? How you doing?
Bobby Skinner, hello. We're going to win today. We're going to win next week. And then we're going to have a bye week. And we're going to talk about how we won 2 games in a row. And then we're going to win the next week against Cincinnati. So I'm very excited for a 3-game winning streak. I'm very excited for the Giants to win today. Also just enjoying today. Crazy week. It was a crazy week for everybody in the world, in the country. And now we're back to normal because we can watch the Giants win. Actually, normal's not watching the Giants win. Think about it.
It's going to be a wild week.
This is our new normal.
Yep. So, Giants, Washington at Washington. Now, Inman is out. I feel like that's kind of like I thought. Now, Sims, he's coming off injuries. I don't know what to expect, but I do think Sims is he's a good slot player.
Mhm.
Like he caught my eye last year watching them. But Inman really is their number 2. So I feel like it doesn't change everything the Giants do, but I do feel like Graham, like it's an extra little added to Graham, be like, just stop McLaurin. Stop McLaurin.
Yeah.
Stop McLaurin. So I'm when I saw that he was out, I was excited.
So Ryan Lewis is out. So what is exactly the plan at cornerback 2? Do not tell me Corey Ballantyne. Is Corey Ballantyne even in the plans for cornerback 2?
Yeadham. It's going to be all Yeadham. I mean, he didn't play. He played like a halfway decent game last week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Ryan Lewis being out, I know he hasn't been good, and he's giving up those deep balls that people hate. Which I mean, I hate them too, but I feel like he is like a decent upgrade over Yeadham. So I don't know.
He was a stabilizing force. He was a stabilizing force, and that's exactly kind of like what we needed.
Right. Get some questions in, people. Here's one. Dylan Singer, what's going on, Dylan? Why isn't Wiggins playing? 1 week of practice. I think they activated Chad Slade, so I figured that's why they only want to keep 8 active offensive linemen. So you have the starting 5, Parrott, who, you know, if anybody wants to ask about Parrott, we can do that. Parrott, Slade, and then Pulley. So I would assume that's why they just felt more comfortable with Slade as the backup. Maybe if they were like, hey, this guy needs to start, maybe they would have went Wiggins over Slade. But I think they're just like, hey, Slade, he's been in this all year. If we need a backup, someone who knows the offense, he's the guy.
Yeah, it's good on Lemieux that after 1 week they didn't feel the need to put somebody in that they just signed from the street. So I guess it's a good sign of Lemieux. So
yeah. Is Will Hernandez back? No. Mack or Board, wide receiver 3. I want your opinion on this.
Mack, he's gotten more reps. So,
but Board has been injured.
Mack has gotten more reps, so I think he's been practicing longer. He's been with the system. I say Mack, but I tentatively say that because they really liked Board over Camp. So
I go CJ. I mean, CJ Board wasn't like productive, but he had some production. Austin Mack has 1 catch for 1 yard in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
1 catch for 1 yard. That is not good. To the point where, and like he's not like this. He's just not that good, you know. And that's what I said when he was activated. I was like, hey, I'm excited to see what this guy is, but I also don't think that it's like, hey, this guy is real deal. He's going to be the guy. Like this, we need him. I don't view that. So now I'm at the point where it's like, hey, Mack obviously isn't anything special. Now let's try out Victor. Let's try out Dylan. Let's try out Bachman.
Yep.
So there we are. And so CJ Board did have some production. I thought he died too, but apparently he is alive, Merrill. He is alive.
I thought he died.
If you had to guess, how many more seasons will it take for the Giants to be contenders again? 1. We're going to be contenders. 0. We're contenders right now. We're contenders.
We are.
The East.
We're going to win the next 3, and then we're right back in it.
Not the craziest thing in the world to say we win the next 3 either.
Oh, man.
Beat Washington, Philly at home, and then Cincinnati.
You know, I'm just excited that we played Tampa well. You know, in a way, I don't care if, Brady didn't have an accurate game. They were running a lot on first down. You could throw me whatever. I mean, the offense was productive. It's, Daniel Jones is pretty much why we are closely watching the second half of the season along with the little of glimmer of hope that we have of the NFC East. But pretty much it's Daniel Jones that we're watching the second half of the season. But still, if we're talking about our thoughts on the team before this year and how we were going to be watching and evaluating, it was on how the team is playing and competing. And they competed against who is the NFC favorites right now in the Tampa Bay Bucks. I kind of compared it to the 2007 game, Week 17 against the Patriots, and then that game in 2011 where we lost both games. We lost 38-35 in 2011 against, at the time, the undefeated Packers. So in those two seasons, we played those teams in the playoffs. So we will also be playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs a couple weeks down the line.
Could you imagine? Could you freaking imagine? That's not even like a crazy scenario. Like the Saints win the division, Bucks win wild card, we win the NFCs. That would be nuts. That would be nuts. Oh, yeah. I mean, it honestly depends on not only on the quarterback, but it's like who is like Jones. Who like you have this next 8 games. Show us who you are. Do you play us out of the top 5? Do you like that Tampa game was it was the lowest moment of Daniel Jones' career.
Yep,
by far. There's been other bad games like I think like the Patriots Thursday Night Football last year, but that was the lowest moment where stuff was there and he just didn't hit it.
Because it's
consistently didn't do it right there.
He's turned over the ball before, but it was the fact that it was turning over the ball plus missing throws.
Yeah, and like I've always been like, hey, I'm cool with a young QB taking chances and doing turnovers, but those turnovers last week were just like they were mind numbing. It's like I don't get that. Like I don't know. But then it was like I was watching like a couple weeks ago his like play game against Virginia Tech, and then I see him make that like where he's being tackled and he bullets it 15 yards down the field, and it's like he just has that gunslinger mentality, and that's why I'm not saying he's Big Ben, but I just view him as that Big Ben, like just refuses to give up on a play. He'll be being tackled and throw it away, like just that's why I feel like that's his player comp. It doesn't mean he's gonna be as good as Big Ben. I just feel like that's his player comp.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's see. Will the new receiver be ready to play next week? Yes, I would assume next week. Dante Pettis is who Matt is asking about.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's get some questions in here. What do you Tate stat predictions? I'm thinking Nate catches 128 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I agree. Yep. I agree. That was good. I love that Judge did that.
I don't hate it, but I'm also not like because at the end of the day, like I don't know, like was what Tate did that bad? Like the biggest crime was his wife. Like the worst person in all of that was his wife. Now, I'll say him liking a tweet saying the Giants had cut him was bad. But the whole like throw me the ball and having like a bad attitude, I get like that should be corrected, but I don't think it was like the most punishable thing in the world. And it's funny, like the people that were like going off and like how this guy's a scumbag are the people who like still love Odell. And it's like that was nothing on an Odell scale.
Well, the difference is that Golden Tate's Golden Tate and Odell was Odell. That's the difference.
I agree.
Jimmy Johnson says the same thing. I love Jimmy Johnson as a
football
coach.
Who you can afford to be.
Right. It's like, well, if a backup practice squad tackle's sleeping in the meeting, are you going to cut him or are you going to reprimand him? Yes. If Troy Aikman's sleeping in the meeting, you're going to reprimand him? No.
Yeah, that's why it's like when like the guy Jones and all them were out like the video of them. It's like, yeah, if that was CJ Board, would they have been punished? Probably. But it's like we're not benching our starting quarterback.
No.
Tommy Thigh, thank you for the donation. Sorry you guys didn't win the election. Voter fraud. We're moving on from that joke. The country is at each other's neck.
It's too soon though.
Just because it's we're moving on from those jokes for another 3 years. 3 years we'll be back. 2024. I might actually run for something in my city just to get stuff rolling.
There you go. I just put out a tweet about Daniel Jones. These stats are just on my brain. I don't even need to look them up anymore. Daniel Jones, this is big for today. Daniel Jones attempted 13 passes of 20-plus yards for the entire season through 7 weeks. He completed 7 of them. But last week, he attempted 6 passes of 20-plus yards, only completed 2 of them. So this is going to be like my little Daniel Jones. Two things for Daniel Jones today. I guess three. Number one, turnovers. Can he go a game without turning over the ball? Number two, can we be a little bit more accurate? But also, number three, can Jason Garrett continue to stretch the field and Daniel Jones take shots? Because last week, Jones had basically half of his passing attempts of 20-plus yards in 1 week last week through like basically 7 weeks. He had half of the passing attempts from the first 7 weeks. I think you know what I'm saying. I didn't word that well. But can we continue to be aggressive downfield?
Correct. Yeah, and that's Garrett. The way he called this last game, and it wasn't like he was doing anything crazy last game, but continue to call it like that. Continue to call a game like that. I mean, like I said, it wasn't like anything innovative that he was doing, but I like the way he called that game. Let's see. Serious questions time. Do you think Garrett is turning a corner on his play calling? Well, yeah, we kind of just hit on that. I would slow the rate roll on like turning a corner, so let's see it consistently. But yeah, the last 2 weeks have been improved. Like I said, it hasn't been anything crazy. It hasn't been anything innovative, but it has been aggressive play calls. And it doesn't mean that you're just chucking it downfield, but it has opened stuff up downfield where, Jones missed some of those, but it also keeps, it opens stuff up underneath.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was about to say about if we can complete passes, in two different ways, passes of 20-plus yards or even just have big explosive plays that go for 20-plus yards. You don't even need to even always be throwing the ball 20-plus yards downfield. But if we can start being more of a big explosive play offense instead of just churning out the time of possession and churning out the 12, 13, 14, 10 play drives, if we can do that, then I guarantee you the blitz rate that the Giants are facing on the offensive side of the ball, because there is no quarterback that has been blitzed more than Daniel Jones in the National Football League. If we can start being more of an explosive big play offense, even just a little bit, then that is going to alleviate the pressure that is on Jones and that is on the offensive line. And hopefully things underneath will open up, which is exactly what Jason Garrett wants. He wants the underneath stuff to be open. But it's not, because no opposing defenses respect the Giants' ability to throw the ball down the field.
I wonder, even though because Jones did miss, I do wonder, though, if Washington will change the way they play this offense to be like, hey, that's not the offense that we played a couple of weeks ago. We need to take account for that. And that's why I think Sterling Shepard can have a big game, because Shepard is the king of that underneath stuff and working the intermediate game. So I wonder if they do play it today. Tom Thigh, thank you again. I appreciate it. Should we draft running back Travis Etienne or a interior D line in round one?
That's a sarcastic question.
I think it is, but answer. I'll go interior defensive line to replace Dalvin Tomlinson.
We're already saying that DT is going to be moved on. That's a conversation we're going to have this week on the show. It's probably going to be a Wednesday show topic.
Yeah.
Yes, I value interior defensive linemen more than running backs, and I agree with you with the whole theory that you have about valuing run stuffing defensive tackles. So, you had a theory that you said a couple weeks ago on the show, and I'm going to mess it up if I say it. But so you could play your linebackers further back.
Trusting your defensive line to stop the run, so you can use your linebackers more to stop the pass.
Yes,
and that's the way Patrick Graham has attacked things. And our guy Talking Giants Vigilante, formerly known as Computer Folk Panic, he messaged me after that, and he's like, "Hey, I actually had this theory a couple of years ago," and like showed me the post, and I felt smart. It's probably not even that smart. It's just I caught on to it late.
Yeah, sorry. That's our MO.
You don't see anybody on the internet saying it, but it's like people in the real football world probably have been saying that for years.
That's our MO.
Giant steps. Thank you. I appreciate it. How important is it for a tackle to have a talented edge to face in practice? You know what? That is a good point. Because if you're not worrying about like who does Thomas get? Well, I guess you don't really go against the ones a ton besides like one-on-one, like, individual drills. Like you're 11 on 11. You're never going like ones versus ones except for in training camp. So you're going up against backups. I mean, Andrew Thomas's practice has been against, Carter Coughlin, Cam Brown. Probably a little less now, though, now that those guys are getting some reps with the first team. But yeah, that is it is important because you got to have practice makes you better, and we just don't have anybody out there, like Kyler Fackrell is not testing the limits of Andrew Thomas.
No, and you would know better than you have a little bit more playing experience than I do. It just makes sense. It makes sense that going up against more talented players in practice would make you better in the game. So yes, that's a great point. Yes. Thank you for the $5.
Yeah, thank you, Giant Steps. Yeah, and it's like, I can't wait to see what Thomas looks like today. I hope I can't wait because if it's bad, then I will be able to wait. But that little inside foot thing, man, that is something that I love that he works on. I mean, that's something that O-line coaches they'll notice, and he got away with not having to do it like as consistent at Georgia. But it's like, and I hate to do when I played, but that was something like from my, and this is going to sound so corny, from my 10th grade year to my 11th grade year, my 11th grade year to my senior year, the off season was worked on powering that inside foot down. I just remember coming out to practice for camp day one. It's like, no one can touch me on the inside. They cannot set me up. I was dominant. Anyways, that's the more of 3-year Letterman. Go follow him. Go follow 3rd-year Letterman. Tommy, we can definitely improve and have been has been improving. We just need to consistently execute in situational football and play calling on both ends, but Jones needs to get better. He has lost this season for us. Can we talk about that? He did lose the Tampa game, but I've heard people saying if we had if it wasn't for Jones, we'd be 4-4, 5-3. I rebuke that.
The Steelers game, maybe.
But the thing is people don't put into play the things he did to keep us in those games.
Correct.
Correct. like long runs and dime throws and stuff.
It's a shame that this offense is so. It's a shame that this offense is so complicated when it comes to Jones turning the ball over, but also Garrett holding the unit back. It's a shame that it's not just one or the other. It really is, because it would make this conversation a whole lot easier, but it definitely is a whole lot of both.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just we didn't play to the way we played the last game played to his strengths now, and he fell short. So I mean, like I said, this next 8 games is not solely about him, but it really is to see who he is and do they move on. Now the Giants organization may be already committed to him year 3. I don't know, but anyways, we'll
there's still 8 games.
Yeah, still 8 games. All right, we'll go for 2 more minutes. Let's see. Let's get some last couple of questions in here.
There was a Dalvin question in there.
Green Bay tried to trade for Dalvin for a mid-round pick, and the Giants denied it. Yeah, I mean that could have been a 6th-round pick. We don't know. I need to hear you, and I hate after the
I think it's worth talking about on Wednesday's show. It is a conversation that is worth having because you had the whole comp pick theory, but comp picks aren't guaranteed.
I just threw that in as a possibility. I don't think it's for a comp pick. I think it's because they're going to resign him.
And then then it turns into a conversation of who is the more complete player, which I think Leonard Williams is. I don't want to say leaps and bounds, but I think he's just more valuable. And I think Leonard Williams would be worth the difference in contract between what Dalvin Tomlinson would cost, which is probably a couple $1 million cheaper. But I think Leonard Williams is worth it. I think he should be priority number 1.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd lean Dalvin if it's like $4 to $5 million difference. I probably would go Dalvin. Bar 3400, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Concerned with the Mew pass pro against Payne Allen? Yeah. His pass pro wasn't very good. He was very impressive in the run game, but the pass game wasn't great. We'll see how Washington attacks it. But yeah, I definitely wasn't. His pass game was bad.
A lot of stunts to that left side.
Yeah. He can't to keep it quick, and we'll finish it off on this. Is he's letting the defensive lineman get here, and he needs to have them right here because what's happening is they're getting upfield, and it's making it easy for the other team in the pass game. And then Zachary says, is Will Hernandez a promise for Andrew Thomas since Andrew Thomas played better with Shane against Tampa? That is fully coincidental. And honestly, it made them worse against stunts. I know people only remember the stunts that work against us, but for the most part, Thomas and Hernandez have done a very solid job picking up stunts this season. So Thomas and Lemieux had nothing to do with Thomas's play. So there we go. All right, that's a pregame show. Appreciate.
Wait, somebody asked the score prediction, Bobby. What's your score prediction for today?
Here, I'll do it. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. If you would like, we do go live after the game. We usually go like right when the 4:00 slate games end, and so we go and try and get. We probably won't finish. We finish like somewhere in the first quarter of Sunday Night Football. But anyways, hopefully it's after a victory. There's a live chat in there that a lot of people join in. So it's a good time. $2 a month. You get a free magnet. You get entered into t-shirt contests, all that fun stuff. So, and we'll probably be doing another one of those in a month or in a week or so because it is a new month. So appreciate you guys. Let's win this damn game. Let's go Big Blue.